Tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why, because it's freaking
What?
heat, man. It's this
Yeah. I know.
heat.
Who
This
else
heat
is
wave.
burning up out there? Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
It's hotter than. It's just been miserable everywhere.
We gotta wait just a few minutes. We wait a few minutes. Can't
Yeah.
get too carried
Oh,
away.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't even going to be that bad, but I still,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
These guys are crazy here on YouTube. Love you guys. You know.
Nah,
But
man, it was like
before we get,
106 real feel here today.
what was your humidity like, dude?
I didn't even look at that.
80%,
But hell, we can look real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
which means while he's looking that up, hey, to deal with that humidity and cool down that 106 garage beer, bud.
Oh, there was plenty of them
Classic
going.
light beer flavored beer. They got two flavors, the classic and the lime. Or the light, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
guys. Hey,
Hey,
we've
the
been
garage
lucky
is
enough
always
to
open.
try the light classic. It's fantastic. All day drinkable. The lime is the stuff of legends, we hear.
That's what we
So
hear.
they're available in a few states out in the east. So look your Midwest, look it up, check it out.
Hey, that's
Garage
all
beer.
right there. That's all right though. In a couple of weeks we'll get to try it. Then
Yeah,
we'll know.
and
Then we'll know for a
it's
fact.
coming around. Oh boy. Oh boy. Really? Really?
Hey, I mean, they,
Shit. Oh
I
man,
mean,
no. No.
we're laughing, but I mean, everybody else got to know what we're laughing at too. But
Yeah.
so
Who
they
let
want to know
Ron
who
Jeremy
let
in
Ron
here?
Jeremy on tonight.
Yes. All right. Everybody, the salted bite, foodie gone comedian, apparently.
Jimmy. Hey, so
Hey, this grill life. What's up,
yeah.
dude?
Oh
So, how's your weekend going, man? Or how
man,
did your weekend
it,
go? I guess.
it really didn't stop too much. It stopped a little bit. It was hot today. It was hot yesterday. I mean, we can keep that beating that dead horse until it was dead 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Um, done some cooking, a little bit of cooking yesterday, and done good a little bit of cooking today as well. So wasn't too bad. What about you?
Yeah, I started a stock yesterday, homemade stock yesterday. I chopped up a whole chicken, so everything that was left over, and finished that this morning. And then that whole chicken went back in there with some tomatillos and peppers I roasted yesterday. And
Yeah.
I made this chicken verde that actually turned out way better than I was expecting. I expected it to be decent, but I nailed it. I was pretty
There you
impressed with
go.
myself.
Please tell
And
me you wrote
then,
it down.
yeah. Uh, I also smoked a pork butt overnight. I hadn't done a pork butt in a while.
I noticed
And
that.
hey, yeah, you saw I used the
Yeah.
goods, bro. That sweet Carolina Gold, baby.
Hey, I'm surprised how you guys still got something left.
Shh, because I don't let anybody else in the house have it.
Ah, you
I
gotta eat it.
messed up. I messed up when I let Kim try the field house from Branch. We go through it like that now.
Yeah.
But what else? I did some. Oh, and I ground up a bunch of peppers for pepper powder. So
Okay.
a few things going on.
Dad, man, you was busy.
I've been busy with stupid life crap, so I haven't been able to cook. So I went full
Yeah.
junkie today.
There you go.
But
Shoot.
hey, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? They ain't here to see us. They ain't here
Nah,
to see us.
never.
Hey, this week we're excited about this one. Good buddy. And if you guys have Instagram, you should definitely check out this dude's broadcast channel. There's actually the Salted by. She's a contributor, and oh, I can't remember the
Mhm.
other guy, Greg something, Outdoor Greg or something.
I'm pretty sure you
But
told.
if you want to know how to up your game of content, filming, or pictures, I'm telling you, these are the people you want to be getting a hold of. Um, yeah, it's next level stuff. Uh, we'll show you. Just anyway, I can't
Hmm.
even put it into words. So, without further ado, the cinematic foodie.
Hmm.
They still call me chef. Yes, sir. Josh
What's up,
Gregory.
guys?
What's up,
How's
man?
it going?
What are we doing? Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for hanging out. So
that was quite the intro.
Oh man, I'm off it. Usually I string it out in like
4-5 minutes worth.
Yeah, we try and go goofy with them. That's something we strive for here, but it's like I don't know what to say until you just got to see. As soon as you see some stuff, folks, you'll know if you don't know. And if you don't know, you've been sleeping under a rock. So
true.
So what's up, man? How was your week?
It was good. You know, we played a little golf yesterday and got in before it got obscenely hot, and ran a little brisket overnight, and just real chill weekend. Real laid back.
Nice. So
how did the brisket turn out?
Not great.
Oh.
No. Yeah. You know, I've been I don't know, I'm probably not the only one who's guilty of this, but there's so much information out there that you start like looking around, and if you've been tinkering, it just comes back to bite you in the ass. And this is actually the second brisket in a row that did that, and I pulled it off, and I was like, man, this may not be exactly what I want it to be, and I got it wrapped in the cooler, let it rest, and I pulled it out. And don't get me wrong, it's good, but it was not where I wanted it to be for what I was hoping for. So, I'm trying another one soon.
Yeah. I had that same issue today with my pork butt, to be perfectly honest. One muscle tightened back up on me a tiny bit over the rest, so I pulled it a little too soon, obviously, but
Hey, but the problem is though, even though it's not where you want it's still gonna eat. You can find some which way to make something out of it.
I mean, in my house, we don't have kids in my house, so there's just we'll take that thing and I'll just vacuum bag it in chunks, and that'll be football starting in 3 weeks. That'll be chili. That'll be all kind of stuff. We'll grind that for sausage. It'll definitely get put to use, but. Yeah, I know. I posted the picture this morning. I posted the video earlier this morning, and somebody whose opinion I greatly respect, who I'm not going to call out by name, but someone whose opinion I greatly respect, hit me up in my DMs. He's like, "Hey, your probe's probably in the wrong spot for that. If you want to be checking the temperature." And I was looking at it. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. One of the two of us is one Memphis in May, and spoiler alert, it wasn't me. So it's like, all right. Dude was cool enough to reach out and say, "Hey, man, maybe you want to try this instead next time." And I was like, "All right, point taken. Appreciate you, Chef. I'll remember that for next time."
For sure. Good corrective
criticism. I'm always up for someone to be like. I mean, I'm pretty decent with some things, but if you can see a flaw in my movements, please let me know. Because I would rather not. I mean, I haven't like, we got a joke like with our buddy Marco Woodfire Whiskey. We ain't effed up a piece of meat yet, but I've definitely made a ton that weren't where I wanted them. So,
it's like someone says, you got to make bad barbecue to make good barbecue, right? I'm not saying it was bad.
True.
But yes.
Learning process.
I'm still learning the brisket process as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're not a pro, Damon?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, none of us are pros here. Well, excuse me. Well, no, but you used to be an executive chef, correct? I can't remember the name of the place.
Yeah, I was. I had a couple stops on that tour over the years.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you got started and where this all began, real quick. They still call me chef story.
How far back do you want to go? Do you want to go
back as you want?
Okay, so I started in the kitchen when I was 15 years old, and went through high school, working, making money, and I went to college, and college was not my thing, and I wanted to come back home and make money. So I took a semester off, and I never left.
Yeah,
just money, girls, all the cliche stuff that happens to people that work in restaurants happened to me. Fast forward, a decade, and I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and opportunities started to pile up, and I ended up taking over the kitchen at this place called Supper Southern Morsels here in Norfolk, and it had been open about a year. They were just getting crushed, like run over. And I came in as the sous chef to help them organize and get their shit together, and really just sort of help the chef like handle what this 200-seat restaurant was going to be, because that thing turned out to be a fucking monster. And he decided that he was done, and the ownership group came to me and they said, "Would you be like willing to take this?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it done." So we had a blast in that kitchen, and we turned a lot of tables in my time there. As that was going on, the ownership group came to me and asked me, "Hey, would you be willing to take over the Public House, which was the sister restaurant down the street?" And I said, "Sure." And then about 3 months after that, they came to me and said, "Hey, we have this opportunity for this project we're working on in the Bahamas. Would you be willing to help us with that?" And I ended up going down to the Bahamas twice to consult with their culinary team down there, just to sort of help them get, again, nuts and bolts things, nothing, it's like super wild from the creative side, but definitely like a lot of
how to run a kitchen type stuff.
Yeah, write your menus, and it's difficult to get product and do all that stuff under good circumstances. Well,
sure,
down there, everything, there's just like another added layer of everything, because you get your Cisco order, but it comes on a barge, and they don't give you a delivery time. They tell you, "Hey, it's going to be here on this date at some point," and you drive out to the fucking dock and pick it up. So it's just a whole different slice of life down there. But anyways, came back from that, and that was kind of the time my wife came to me and said, "Hey, I think we're probably going to be done with this soon. Like, I think you should look to do something else." So I got out. I got into the sales world. I sold produce for a while. I sold food for Cisco through the pandemic, and now I rep high-end kitchen equipment.
Okay.
So I'm a rep like a whole brand, a whole like slew of brands, KitchenAid, some ones people have heard of, and some other ones that people aren't as familiar with. But during the pandemic, like a lot of us, I feel like I had sort of stopped cooking, because when I got done with my restaurant career, I also went into recovery for being an alcoholic, and learning how to live in this new sober lifestyle was really, at the time, very difficult. It's a big change. And I kind of stopped cooking outside of like what was necessary for us just to eat. It was just became like a total like function over form kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And when the pandemic happened, all of a sudden I was home, and I had a stack of cash that was basically just sitting under my mattress, and my wife was working, and I was furloughed, and I bought my first pellet grill. And it sounds like so cliche, and you guys are going to laugh, and I'm going to apologize for this already. Literally reignited my passion for food. Like,
no, whatever it takes, dude.
Yeah. So here we are. And about a year ago, I was sort of sick of Instagram and like, "Hey man, forget this mess, and this is garbage," and all the things that all like that battle that we all go through. That's like, you like love it and hate it at the same time, and you're happy for people that are successful, mm-hmm. but also like, why is that not me? And it's just like this fucking mental thing that happens. And I decided that I was gonna just throw all in and be like, I'm gonna make stuff that I'm proud of, that I like, that I'm interested in, and if other people are interested in that, then that's awesome. If not, cool. There's a billion other people on this planet. You guys can find someone else to make.
Eat rocks.
Yeah. Fine. I'm not. I have all these dishes that like I've seen over the years that like stuck out to me. I was like, man, that's fucking stupid. But I can't say what they are, because I like a lot of these creators and I don't want to call them out. But also, like, I see stuff sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, you guys? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm 100% behind that with the smoked bologna rolls. Like, why, folks? Come on, Dame. I know, Dame. I know I'm starting to fight here. But I like, what are we doing? And I get meat's expensive, but like,
Hey, that's the
But
South for you, man.
raise your hand if you bacon wrapped and smoked Oreos.
Not yet.
Oh, fuck you guys. I'm the only one that did that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I still want to do all those stupid things. I just forget a lot of things. ADHD is a mother effer, man.
Hey, was that the only gimmicky trend that you jumped on, Josh? Or was there any others?
I haven't done the bologna. We never did smoke cream cheese.
Right.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see slider down there.
Yeah. I feel you on that one a little bit.
I got a little spicy on Threads one night a couple weeks back. I ended up deleting it because I didn't want to come off like a jerk. But it was like I said something like, we need to temper the comments we have for people. It's like, that was not like mind blowing or next level. You just put ham and Swiss on a Hawaiian roll, like, and everyone's like, "But we love sliders." I'm like, "Yeah, they're great, but
but they're sandwiches."
Yeah.
So we got one from the crowd real quick. Your buddy Britt says, "Don't get you started on cream cheese."
Just stirring the pot over there. Yeah, no, y'all should check me out on Threads. But there's some spicy takes over on Threads. It was what's one food trend that you hope doesn't come back, and mine was smoked cream cheese.
Man, dude, that's like.
I'm sure that the people that make it like it and it's delicious, and that's fine. I just feel like I always see them over smoked, and you see that like film that kind of starts to like set over top of it, because like they pulled it off the grill, it sat for 25 minutes because they're trying to get the right angle or whatever, and they go and dip into it, and you can see where they break it. And it just reminds me of like that same film that comes over like Velveeta when it sits on a steam table too long, and that's a me problem, I'm sure. But yeah, I just
God.
So, hey, real quick, because I do have a little bit of a deeper thing on this, because I've met a lot of people like this, one and done. That was all I ever needed to do. But and I've only done it once just because I haven't taken the time to do it. I smoked some cream cheese for a pasta dish, that was really good.
Okay.
But I can't imagine that it would be that much insanely I don't know. I don't see it.
And I don't want to completely bang on it because, and that's just the trends in general, because everything that I do that I put online is optimized for ease because I'm lazy. So I get it. I get that impulse to be like, hey man, I got to cook this. I got to film it. I got to write a caption. I got to find a track. You got all those things you do to put it together, right? It's not like it's not work. I get it. But if you're supposed to be to me, it's like if you're supposed to be making food content at the same time, like if you make good food, the rest of it will come with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to bacon wrap Oreos, which I will say were awesome, by the way.
I get that those have to be good.
Yeah,
I did not want to like them. We pulled them off the grill that day, and I was like, God damn it.
Well, yeah, that's one of those ones like, oh, well, this is
why
a
did I
now.
just before?
Yeah, hey, had to clean it up for work. That's what happened, buddy. All right. Oh.
I'm next. I ain't gonna let you go out. I'll be right back. I'm gonna shave too.
No, you ain't.
Nah, yeah, I'm lying.
Oh, so how did you get so good at? Let's talk about the photography side of it. Where did that? Obviously, you're very talented, and you put a lot. It might not be as much effort for you as it is for some, obviously, because you've already done all the hard work to get to where you're at. But how did that all start to get like? I meant to say this in the intro, but thirst trap videos. That's what it is. Thirst trap.
Yeah. So I decided that I wanted to make like a leap forward, because I think you guys we're all familiar with like the formula, right? It's like you've got the phone and you're like moving your phone over the top of like the lay flat or whatever it ends up being. And I walked into a pawn shop for something else one day, and they had the Nikon D3200, which is an old DSLR, it was made in 2012, and it was like $200. And I was like, all right, I can probably use this for something. What are we going to do with it? So I got the camera, I got it back home. I had no clue how to use it. Took some pictures, and they were fucking terrible. And I was like, well, this is a waste of money. Great. And just, of course, it's a pawn shop. They're not going to take my money back. Take the camera back and give me my money. So I was like, all right, well, this is just going to sit on a shelf and collect dust because I'm mad at this now. And, whatever, fuck this. And then I picked it back up a couple weeks later. And the magic of the internet provided just enough information for me to want to explore it more. And then I started talking to some other creators that were good photographers. Sarah Range, Polygirl 17, was the first one that ever responded to me. And she gave me all the information that she had. And she is a phenomenal photographer. And I learned quite a bit from her. She actually had a second page for a while that was photography tips. So I downloaded Lightroom, the free version, on my iPhone. And I remember being at Best Buy trying to figure out, talking to this dude, like how we were going to get these pictures off the camera, because I had taken these pictures and I was happy with them, but we didn't know how to get the fucking pictures off the camera. And it was like they're in there and I couldn't figure out how to get them off to edit. So that's, for those of you out there that are intimidated by like cameras or, the technology that goes into this, that was me. I'm the dude that like physically brought the camera into Best Buy to be like, help me get the pictures out of here. Right. That's where I was. But we figured that out. There's a little, iPhone dongle you plug in, you put the SD card right in it, and boom, pictures were on there. And then you start playing around with Lightroom. And people don't realize this, but Lightroom will edit the photos for you initially. You can put it into their AI, they'll kick out and edit for you. And it's just like being on Instagram. It's like picking a filter back in the day when the filters were such a big thing. And it's the same thing. And then you start getting into it and you start seeing that there's this other side that comes out of using this kind of equipment. So then it was like, okay, well, these pictures are cool, but everything on Instagram is video. So why am I like, I've got some cool cover like photos, but I don't really have anything that's usable. So then I changed my cell phone and I got a new iPhone and I started learning about video. And again, back to YouTube, back to Google, back to, if there was something I wanted to learn how to do and I couldn't figure it out on my own, I would Google, how do I? And I would come up with the worst fucking descriptions for what I wanted to do because I knew none of the lingo. I knew none of what I knew. I could not verbalize how to figure out doing what I wanted to do. So there was a lot of time I spent at the computer, just like, nope, it wasn't that. Nope, it wasn't that. And it was a ton of trial by error. And then probably right in the middle of that, I put out the first video that I thought was really cool. And I was like, man, I'm on something. And then the best / worst thing happened, because there's always someone better than you out there. I started finding creators that were like a lot better than me, that are still way better than me, and food creators at that. So you've got guys that are putting out like basically short length feature films with cinema cameras. And it's like, wow. So now it's like, we're just going to raise the bar again. So we went from like Sarah, who still takes incredible photos, to, all right, now I'm taking like okay photos, to, wow, there's guys like Samo Frace, who's like, he's one of the top 5 food creators in the world over on TikTok. And he's putting together like basically full length cinematic films. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to be, but I want to do it with barbecue and I want to cook it the way I do it, because as we go, and I think if you go back and look at the content, my food's always stayed really simple. When I was a chef, that was a really important thing for me. We were a Southern restaurant, and I know Damon knows, like, there's a lot of this food you can't fuck with, because if you grew up eating this food and you come to the restaurant and you get my interpretation of it, you're not just screwing with the dish, you're screwing with people's heritage.
Yeah.
You can't.
They'll smell a fugazi so quick. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
So now I learned at that job that we always had to keep it simple, because you gotta honor where it comes from. So now, as a result, my food is extremely simple. It's extremely approachable. I don't think I do anything that is too far out of the box, but it's because of that gives me the latitude to experiment with different angles and track it and do all the things that go into making it what it is, because the food is something I can lean on as a strength when I, don't know how to say, hey, how do I put this filter on this video? And it's not called a filter, it's called a LUT. And it, there's a whole different lingo to what these people out there do. And it's a ton of trial and error. So I know I gave you the world's longest answer to that question.
No, it sums it up.
That's what we're here for, man.
But hey,
Damon,
we can sum it up even easier than that. We can just let them see.
Uh-oh.
And sorry, there's no music because you two don't like us.
Yeah, that's that Senor Lechuga hot sauce, man. That stuff is deadly. Take the paint off your car.
Oof.
Ooh, that's my jam.
That's right up Johnson's alley.
So, dude, hit them up. They make their stuff is legit.
Can you read these?
Can you see that, Josh? CYB Barbecue says, Josh, you're a beast behind the camera. Big inspiration.
Guys, that's really, really kind of you. I'm always like, I don't want to say blown away, because I feel like that's a little dramatic, but like it's heartwarming and I'm appreciative of it, but it's always surprising to me that people feel inspired, because it's like, just go do it. If my dumb ass can figure it out, I like to say that I'm just like a retired line rat, from the kitchen. If I can figure out how to do it, it's out there, man. Yeah, no, dude, I was a total dirtbag line cook when I was in the kitchen.
I worked in a couple kitchens. Way back in the day. I was never a line cook. I did prep and bussing and dishwashing a bunch, but at a really good restaurant in town, Italian place.
Nice.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Nice.
The chef there, he taught me he would teach me a few things. That's where I learned how to make Alfredo, or what we call Alfredo here in the U.S. Because it's not the same, I promise, folks.
No, I'm sure. So Josh,
there's like no cream in it.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say there's no cream in it over there.
All right. The style that you've created with everything, with your cinematic stuff and everything, being to the darker side of the lighting scale. How did you come up with that? Or was that by accident? Was that on purpose? Or if it's on purpose, what's the purpose?
It's now on purpose. And originally it was not. Originally it was not properly understanding how to set up the frame to get where I wanted. And it was a lot of, like, if you look like way back, a lot of stuff's like real dark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I
wish I had that accident.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, again, because it's lazy, right? It's like, I don't want to go turn this light on and I want to drag this light over here. It's like, I'm like Googling, like, what's the one light I need to film with, and not like, what's the lighting setup I need, which is really what you end up needing.
Right.
I'm like, I just want the one. And if it's this big, that's perfect. And of course, that's not how that works. So now it's about fully lighting everything so that you get that resolution that you want. And then when you go back into your edit, you learn how to take out the different parts of the light, because the sensor will pull all of that in, and you want to pull in as much as possible and then cut stuff out, as opposed to trying to go back in when you're done and add stuff into what you've got. So it's almost counterintuitive. If you look at some of the pictures I posted today, those were fully lit. There was a big softbox right up next to the cutting board I used, and there was a white piece of foam board on the other side, so the light bounces off and back into everything, and it's this really fucking nerdy setup to get this really dark picture. But you just back that light out, and you learn how to work with the curves, and you learn just some really basic editing, which again is not super difficult. As long as you can get a properly exposed shot, you can really change what you've got pretty drastically. And then it's just learning about finding a style that sort of resonates with you.
Okay. See, I've been focusing on lighting angles in the shot, but it's better to shoot fully lit and you build your lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And you don't want to light flat either. So you don't want the light coming in directly at you. So I've got two lights here, and they're coming across each other, so that you can fit through the texture of my face. Whereas if I was lighting directly in the front of my face,
you get this problem.
I think yours look pretty well.
I know, but you get all these reflections in my glasses. You don't have that.
Oh, if I look at one angle or not, it will.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they're also panel lights, so it's a little. I mean, and again, it's not super important. And shooting something like this is different than shooting the real.
Oh,
but,
yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't learn a lot of this until recently too. Joni Simon, the bite shot. I took her lighting course, man. And that's the other thing. Don't be. If you're into this, there's certainly there's a ton of free information on the internet. So do not feel like you have to spend a ton of money to get that information. It's all out there. It's just how much are you willing to sift through until you find the person that's like, you do this.
Yes.
But I took her course because I was like, man, my lighting is okay. I want my lighting to be fucking good.
Yeah, awesome.
So, but yeah, I put the light right up next to it, and it feels counterintuitive, but it's been working out. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Not that we're all just trying to rip off your.
Do it.
But it's just really good information to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I saw something the other day. There was this guy. Because the big piece of advice I tell everybody is, especially in the barbecue community, because it's so insular. Get out of the community when you're trying to consume content. I think it's important to consume content, but get out of the bacon wrapped Oreos and the cream cheese and the brisket and pork butt and because it's so insular. It's like, I think back to, and this hasn't really happened in a while, but remember, I don't know, it's probably 2021 where all the brands would come through and they would just run through the whole community. And all of a sudden everybody had that one hot sauce, and then everybody had that one torch, and everybody had this, and then everybody was a good charcoal ambassador for 15 minutes. And it was just it would run through. So I haven't seen that happen in a while, but I think that's probably because a lot of the older creators have started to settle into their groove, and we have a new batch coming up. But I feel like we're probably going to see some more of that again. You've got to break out of the niche to go see what other people are doing. You have to do it, and you will start to pull things away that you can bring back, whether it's stylistic, whether it's a piece of music, whatever it ends up being. You will find something else out there. And one of the things I saw was this guy. He's a concert photographer, and I have a pretty heavy interest in concert photography. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day, but he said good photographers aren't gatekeepers. So he's an open book. If you have a question, you can go to him. He'll answer it. I really took that to heart. I will show you my entire setup. I will tell you how I do everything that I do.
Yep.
It's not untrue. I've asked several questions.
Yeah, it's right there too. Rose's Barbecue says the same thing. Josh has always been willing to answer the questions. I've messaged him. Lots of great tips from him.
And like I said, I'm telling you, there's a lot of good information on his broadcast channel there on IG.
Mm-hmm.
I have changed. Go ahead.
We're going to get to a place where we're going to change that up a little bit too. I like that platform, but I don't like that we can't interact. Like if you have a question, you have to come to me through DM, and it's probably I get a lot of the same questions, which I don't mind answering, and it's I'll try to dump them in the broadcast channel because if you ask and then I get 3 more people asking the same thing, it's like, all right, well that's probably a good topic for the broadcast channel, but I'm working on a way to make sure that everybody can just kind of interact as a group. That'll be the next step for that broadcast channel. But yeah, definitely hop in there because that's where I'm going to announce what I'm doing with it next.
There you go.
Yeah, you totally changed the way I thought. I had read a bunch of stuff online, and again, like you were talking about with the brisket, there's so much information out there, and so many people do it this way for this and that way for this. And I thought I had it all set up the best way to shoot on an iPhone. And then just some of the things you said in your channel and then asking questions about it. Now my stuff looks way better. It's not like cinematic craziness, but to me, it's like already like I just went like this a whole couple levels, and I haven't bought a camera. I haven't changed anything but 3 settings on my phone.
Yeah. It's the 80-20, man. The 20% that you change gets you 80% of the results.
Yes.
That's
I love that.
Universal. Yeah. And it's so funny to find that information out there because when I started the broadcast channel, it's like I wanted to be able to give information without having to tell you my life story to get there. Because you see this on YouTube, you see this a lot in food blogs, but you also see it in YouTube. And I know this is what makes bloggers who they are, and I'm not trying to bang on them, but like if I'm looking for a piece of information, I'm usually, at least the way I do things, like I'm usually in the middle of doing it. Right. So if I'm trying to figure out something in Final Cut, or I'm trying to figure out a way to make my background blur with the camera, it's not because I was sitting doing something else and was like, hey, I wonder how to do that. It's because I'm trying to do it right now. And if I'm going to the internet to figure out how to do it, I'm probably already a little frustrated. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm dispensing information, it's concise enough that if you go back to reference it, you can have your answer right away. And you don't have to listen to 25 minutes and subscribe to this and thanks for this and ding the bell and all those other things. It's like, no, if I'm trying to edit a reel or I'm trying to film the reel and I've got my steak that's slowly starting to overcook, how do I get that piece of information I need quickly? So that's the purpose of the broadcast channel, and whatever broadcast channel 2.0 looks like will be that same thing. It's like, hey, here's a concise list of things that you can check and reference. And then if you want to do a deeper dive on YouTube later, it's there for you. But it's like, here.
Love it. And not like, oh, thanks for making it free, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, it's like you were saying, it's pinpoint specific. Like, look, yes, I use a camera, but some of my greatest shots I've taken on my iPhone. This is how I do it. And this is why I think they're really awesome. And then, if you want to know how I edit, then it's like, man, no one's doing that. No one's doing that. It's always like, hey, you want to know how to do this? Here's a little taster, a little treat. And then come to my masterclass for whatever, or subscribe to this, or
here's my affiliate list. Go buy one. Here's one of the 12 products you have to buy. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I've really, in the last probably 4 months, tried when I'm shooting reels to start slowly removing product out of it. Like and that was really the main reason I went to cinematic, was because I had an experience with a brand that was not great. And I was just kind of like, you know what, fuck this. And I started thinking about we're aware of branding all over, like everywhere, but it's not, Here's this. Try it. It's great. Use my affiliate link. Click below. So that was how it became like, hey, it's in the shot because it's in my kitchen. It's not in the shot because I put it there for you to be like, oh, look. You know?
Right.
So as we start to remove that thought process from where the content was, then it became really easy for me to be like, hey, oh yeah, you do this, you do this, you do this. What's next? Like, what other question do you have? Because we answered the basic without having to make it be like another ad. Because as in the barbecue community, we all love barbecue, but we're also all influencers, and we spend time doing that all the time. So as a creator, you got someone coming to you every week being like, hey, can you do this for me? Like, everyone always has their hand out, but there was nowhere where we could go that we removed that element from the conversation to be like, okay, well, what do we do to be better creators now? Because there's creators for creators, and those guys got to make their money too, and that's fine. But I've already invested that time. I've already invested the hours to putting on our own show or whatever else we're doing. I need to know how to make it better now without being sold something else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because I want this bit of the information that I'm going to have to take this much of a class for or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. I love it. Damon, what you got?
I had it, but I lost it just then.
We saw it go.
Yeah. You still cooking on the pellet grill, or what you cooking on now?
Yeah, so I've got a Camp Chef Woodwind Pro 36 that I cook on. I cook on the Nomad. The Nomad's new for me. But big fan of the Nomad. Those guys are awesome. They make their product is, again, I'm fucking lazy, so their product is hyper convenient. You open it up, dump the coals in, it's hot, and I don't have to worry about relighting charcoal.
I really like that little thing. I need to get one of those.
It's awesome, dude. I was very impressed. The insulation is what gets me on that, because it's like I'll put a chimney of charcoal in and a couple chunks of wood, and it'll hold dead on 250 for 6 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's wild. Still do a little bit on the birch barrel. Birch barrel's not really a summer grill for me because I got to drag it across the yard every time I go cut the grass, and that's every 3-4 days. With the heat being what it is, so birch barrel will come back this fall. But yeah, just a little smattering of kind of everything. The Camp Chef guys have been really great to me, and they they sort of came in with no strings attached. They were like, hey, just use it, and I thought that was really kind of them. So that grill's nice.
That's awesome.
Just dialed in. Yeah, it's good. It's a good piece of equipment.
Cool. So I remembered, and I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget it again. But just a couple of things. Just a couple of things that will probably help some of us out. What's a little bit of tips that you can give us or give everybody, like for phone, taking photos and videos on phone to improve, and the ones that don't have cameras?
Yeah. So the best camera is the camera you have on you. If you can have the world's nicest full frame mirrorless camera, and if it's sitting on your desk and you're out, at a food festival, that camera is fucking worthless because it's not on you. Dig into the capabilities of what your phone is. Take some time to learn about the different focal lengths and learn about the specs of the camera that's in your phone. So I'll give you a good example. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is nicer than even the DSLR that I started shooting on. A lot of these phones have multiple cameras on them, and they all spout that it's 40 megapixel or whatever the number ends up being. Well, that's only on the main camera. So if you're sitting there with your phone and you're hopping back and forth between all these focal lengths, you are losing fidelity every time you hop to a different camera, because they can't put 40 megapixel. They can't put 3 40 megapixel cameras in the phone. The phone would be outrageously expensive, even more so than it is now.
Mhm.
So stick with that. If it's an iPhone, the 1X, that main camera, that's the one you want to use. You don't want to use the face camera. You want to use the back 1X camera. And if you need to get closer, just move the phone closer. Phones are extremely durable these days. I don't know if we got anybody out there that had, some of the old iPhones back in the day, the iPhone 4 that was just a piece of glass. Or
Oh yeah,
yeah, they've come a long way in terms of stability. So take your phone, move it in closer. It's small, which is to your advantage. Change the angle up. A lot of the tripod holders for phones out there now are, they allow you to rotate or move in or zoom out or whatever. Just move the camera closer. Don't zoom in digitally because you're going to lose quality and when you do that. So that's number one.
Gotcha.
And you just want to do photos, or you want to talk about video too?
video for sure.
Yeah, do videos.
I think because most
I
people are shooting reels.
Yeah. Okay. For all the people that have cameras out there, this flies completely in the face of what I tell you about cameras. So just keep in mind, this is for phones only. Shoot at the highest possible resolution your phone will allow you to shoot, which for most of you is going to be 4K. 4K, 24 frames per second will get you exactly where you need to be. The human eye reads motion at 23.98 frames per second. At least that's the approximation they've come up with. So 24 frames per second, TV shows, movies all shot at 24 frames per second. So you want 4K, 24 frames per second, because what's going to happen is when that comes out of your phone and you got to put it on Instagram, Instagram's going to compress it and it's going to take some of that quality away. So you will still maintain a high quality image on your phone or on your reel. And then if you are in editing software, which I highly recommend, do not be editing in Instagram, even though that the editing platform in Instagram has come a long way. It's not editing software. There's a lot more for you that you can do. Let's say you can't move your phone closer because you don't want to put your cell phone physically in the chimney of charcoal. I get that.
Right.
I've been guilty of actually doing that, and trust me, it doesn't work out. But if you're filming in 4K, and let's say you got your chimney here and I'm up here at a safe distance and I'm filming in 4K looking down in it, when I go into my editing software, I can crop in, and it allows, I don't remember what the exact figures are, but it's like you can crop in to like 300 times whatever that focal length is, and you're not going to lose any quality. Okay. So that's what it is. It's about giving you the most options when you go into edit to change things around. And that's really what it's all about. You want to maintain as much fidelity as possible so that once you get it into Instagram, that it doesn't compress and become like this garbled, like blurry sort of mess. So we did 4K, 24 frames per second. Use editing software. If you are new to the editing software game, or the editing app game, I should say, there is a fantastic app out there called VN Editor that I highly recommend. That will allow you to do some of those cool transitions that people are seeing now, where they kind of like, looks like it kind of gets knocked into the next frame, or, you want to see those flash transitions or those blurs, or, anything that's eye catching. VN's got all that. It will also allow you to edit and change some of the color in the frame. And if you start getting really nerdy into the ether with it, it will allow you to upload LUTs, which are basically, color correcting filters that give you that like very specific look. So VN, there's another one that Adobe makes that's Premiere Rush. That's a very stripped down version of Premiere Pro, or Premiere Rush is really good. And then if you're out there and you feel like you're moving through this and you want to graduate into something else, the other app I highly, highly recommend that I use for all my Instagram content is an app called Luma Fusion that I actually use on the iPad, but it also works on your phone. Luma is about 80% of Final Cut Pro, which is the big one that that a lot of Hollywood studios and TV series use. So Luma Fusion, VN, and if you're using InShot or CapCut or anything out there that's an editing software that has a timeline on the bottom that allows you to edit the audio and the video, and then gives you the option to, drop in and splice and cut and put footage together. That's what you want to practice doing, because that's going to teach you how to tell a story with your footage instead of doing this thing that, I call it or I'm not going to say that. It allows you to have a more concise story than, basically doing the War and Peace of barbecue, where it's like, here's my rub. Now I'm putting my rub on whatever. Now I'm flipping it over and I'm putting my rub on the other side. It's like, all right, well, how can we trim this down? Because when you start seeing it in the timeline, you're like, wow, this video is really long. You can start to be intentional with your storytelling and not show people a step-by-step of, it's not a recipe, but it's not quick either. It puts us in this weird like content space where we're not suggesting motion, we're like literally laying it out. And then that's where a lot of people I see come up and they're like, oh, I did this really nice reel and it can be beautiful and shot well and engaging, but it's 1 minute and 30 seconds long. It's like, what, dude, you lost me at like 8 seconds. Like, I'm on to cat videos and chicks in bikinis or whatever else rolls through my feed, because you lost me,
So is it not a good idea to have them longer videos? Is that what you're saying?
If you're passionate about what you've got, I don't ever want to tell someone if they're passionate about what they've got, put it out there. You never know. It'll come up. I put longer videos out there sometimes as well. I took a video on the beach this summer that did not belong on a barbecue page at all. Did not have anything to do with anything I've been talking about. And it was like 1 minute and 20 seconds long. But it was at the time, one of the best pieces I had ever shot. And I put it together. I'm like, man, this is going on there. Passionate about it, put it out. But here's, maybe the length isn't as important, and I'll tell you why length is important to me in a second, but here's a good example of what not to do. You got a pork butt, right? So everyone likes to throw the pork butt on the cutting board. That's fine. That's great. That's a good hook. Gets everybody's attention. Cool. I don't need to see you take the pork butt out of the package, because I'm assuming you're not cooking the pork butt in the package. So there's 4 seconds. Cut out your video right there. Here's the rub. Cool. Sure, Meat Church is thrilled you're using this rub. Great. You put it on one side, you put it on the other side. Well, if I'm watching you put it on one side, I hope you're putting it on the other. Like, if I'm coming to you for barbecue advice, like, I'm pretty sure you're covering the whole thing. So I only need to see what you're using right there. I don't need the other, let's call that 8 seconds of just around the button. Butt goes on the grill. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to see all the maneuvers you take to put it on there. I don't need to see every time you open it up and spritz it. I don't need, see how we start to build into time here now. And if we've cooked a pork butt before, we all know that this is what we do. So you want to suggest what's happening next, or infer what's happening next, because it's like when you're reading a comic strip, right? Charlie Brown goes to kick the football. They don't actually show him going to kick the football, but they show him on his back and he's saying, "Good grief." That's a good comic strip, and we laugh at that because we know what happened, but we didn't have to say it. It's the same way with your content. I know that you pulled the steak off the grill and let it rest. I know that you seasoned the other side. You just want to take the best looking parts out and put those together. So
Gotcha.
My formula is 15 seconds, and that's my big secret. So if you want the secret to why they all seem like they go the way they go, it's because there's a hard cutoff for me at 15 seconds. And the reason why is when you share my reel to your story, it cuts off after 15 seconds. True. And when that happens, it tells Instagram, because the algorithm can't differentiate. It tells Instagram that someone stopped watching your video at 15 seconds. Now, if my video is 16 seconds, that's not a problem. If it's 17 seconds, it's a slightly bigger problem. If it's 45 seconds, it's a really big problem, because now you're telling the algorithm people aren't watching this video to conclusion. Don't show it to anybody else.
Wow. I feel like that was a big secret right there.
So now though, if this is why, like, I always try to show a little bit of the brand. So now if Nomad comes and they share my reel into their story, Nomad has 380,000 followers.
Yeah.
Every view on that story counts as a play because they finish it all the way through. Even if they click over into the next one, it counts as a view.
Okay.
So that's going to continue to push and go through the algorithm. But once you get to 15.01, it cuts off at the end. So what does that do now as you're creating? Well, now you're really intentional about what you want to put in that reel. So now you're really only going to put in the good stuff, right? Because you know you got this hard cutoff. So now, but you can count to it. Now when I like if I'm in the car, I'm like, wow, this song would be really great in this reel. I'll like find the section of the song I'm interested in, and I'll literally count it 1, 2, 3, and wait till I get to 15 seconds. If it doesn't get to 15 seconds, I can't use it.
Huh.
Gotcha.
Man, dude.
Straight knowledge.
Tony's going to love this one. And speaking of Tony, he did have a question. His question was, what's the best way to take cell phone video into full picture on YouTube form?
Cell phone. Okay, so you have two options. You can do YouTube Short, or you got to turn your phone to the side.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Now, in your phone, you can put up the grids. I don't think we've talked about grids in the group yet, but I'll probably make somebody, if Britt's still around, Britt, I'm gonna make you talk about rule of thirds this week. Put the grids up on your phone, right? And I know that the knock on people not wanting to shoot wide angle is that they want to use it for social and they want to use it for YouTube, and they don't want to have to shoot. They don't have two cell phones, and you don't have to shoot it twice. If you put the grid up, as long as you keep everything that's in that middle frame, you can use it for both, and then you can clip it in the editing software. So that's the best way to do that. That's called aspect ratio. I didn't know what that meant, but that's your aspect ratio. And you'll have a wide aspect ratio or a portrait aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And you want to throttle back and forth between the two. But yeah, just keep the action in the middle of that frame. And even in some of those editing apps, if you get a little bit out of frame, you can move it around. And if you got to zoom in and move it back to wherever, you can do that by clip, which is another thing you would learn in an editing platform. You can move around by clip, and because you're using 4K, it doesn't matter if you get in a little bit close because you're not going to lose any fidelity.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, it's all about having the options and not limiting to be like, oh man, well, I guess I can't use this now. Like use everything, and just trim it down until you get to the best parts.
That's one thing I struggled with, and still struggle with, because I spent all this time shooting this great footage. Like, why would I just give them a taste? I want to show them everything. Like I made this masterpiece. I want to show but
cut together another reel.
No, exactly. It goes back to the first big hurdle that you learn as a creator, that when you cook, don't chop your whole cook up every night and show them that, because then you have to do another full cook every time you want to post. So show them this, show them that.
If you look at the post I did today, it's just that tallow spray. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't gotten that South Chicago Wagyu tallow spray off Amazon yet, that stuff is.
I still have a tub of the stuff, but I'm interested in the spray.
The spray. Remember when the duck dot spray was big? It's the same idea. Yeah. It's the tallow spray, and that stuff is fucking awesome.
Yes.
But I was editing, and I was like, man, I don't have a reel yet. I just wanted to put a little teaser in the story tile, and I was editing it, and I was like, well, I got 11 seconds here. That's a reel. And it's literally just slow down, spraying across the brisket. That's it. It's done. Yep. Put a little LUT on it, make it moody, feel some type of way about it, drop it on there, and boom, that's it. I see my wife just waved at us. I think she's done playing Fortnite for at least for the moment. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, if you heard a very loud obscenity, probably about 20 minutes ago. I think she probably got eliminated a little early, and she would have liked, "Hi, babe." And she's just waving at me. So.
Yeah, I know that struggle for real. I was a gamer way back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No, dude, when Halo 2 first came out and they first went massive multiplayer online, oh, we were junkies.
So we got the PlayStation on Valentine's Day because I sort of in a plan that has done nothing but continue to blow up in my face over the years. Probably about 6 years ago, I got my wife really into football by telling her she would not get how to play fantasy. And she took that personally and learned how to play fantasy. And as a result, I have never beaten my wife at fantasy ever. She, after the year in the intro league, she came into my money league, which she has now won. I've never won my league. I've been doing it for 12 years, never won it. She's won it. So we were around Valentine's Day. We were out to lunch, and I was talking about, hey, get a PS5, you can learn how to play Madden. So I, just glutton for punishment, I guess. And we got it, and we put Fortnite on it, and she's never learned how to play Madden, but now she kicks my ass and just about everyone else's ass I know at Fortnite.
Damn, some people just, I don't, dude. Yeah. I'm okay at some of those like shooting games, dude. I was never better than mediocre at Fortnite, and some people I just see like, oh, you grew up playing video games? Like, no, this is the first game I played. I'm like,
yeah.
Everything's too fast for me.
I got the new Modern Warfare, man, and you want to talk about like just a total waste of $65, like just to get blown away every 4 seconds for 45 minutes. Like you take 2 steps and bam, done. Respawn, bam, done.
Yeah. I can't keep up with the kids anymore, man.
No.
It's a far cry from when I was doing quests on WoW, I'll tell you that.
That's what I was gonna say. I've sat there and watched my son play like Modern Warfare and stuff like that, and it's so quick. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then he runs by your dead body, and you hear it's just like some 9-year-old kid, and you're like, "Mother, I suck, dude. Hate my life."
Or they're speaking a language you don't understand, then they all laugh, and I'm like, "All right, cool, great." Well, what time is it where you are? Because it's like 8:15 on Saturday morning, and I'm just guess I'll just go back to bed or do something else. I'll go be fucking old somewhere else.
So what's your favorite game to play?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
It's Fortnite, ironically.
Oh, okay.
I'm not very good at it, and I still play Madden. We did buy Madden that day, so I'll still play Madden every once in a while. It's almost football season.
She did say she'll get around to Madden.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, that's funny. What else we got down there, Damon?
We can show something real quick before I get to the next question here. Let's see what we got here.
It's
kind of what you're talking about.
So that's a good example of shooting in a wide frame and then clipping it down for social media. Yeah. That's why that angle's there. That original video is at a wide angle, and because it's shot in 4K, you can get up close without having to lose any of the quality there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good example of keeping the action kind of in the middle of the frame.
Speaking of all this wide angle and YouTube stuff, you have something brewing that is that what you were getting to?
Yeah, go ahead. You good?
All right. Yeah. So, spotlight yourself for a quick second, show off, and tell everybody what you got coming up.
Okay.
Or is it too early? Is it too early to talk about?
No. No, I'm on the deadline. It's coming. August 23rd, They Still Call Me Chef. The series is coming out. And it's going to be a recipe-based, hey, this is me in the kitchen doing 80-20 cooking. Like, hey, if you're going to cook, obviously it's not going to be a brisket, but if you're going to cook, you're going to reverse sear a steak. Here's the 5 things you need to know. I'm going to put all the information in the first 30 seconds of the video. And then if you want to stick around for the fun cinematic stuff and that you want to hear my life story through a steak, that'll be the rest of the 5 to 12 minute video. So, yeah, something a little longer form. I'm set up to do it now. I was able to, I've got a couple brands that have been super, super gracious and super kind to me to help me get it off the ground. And I think it's going to be, first one's good. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back a little too early, but I was watching the playback on it and I'm like, all right, this there might be something cool here. So I'm going to do 5 episodes for season 1 and take a little break. And when we're all in the middle of winter, getting tired of cooking at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because the sun's going down at 5:30, I'll drop another couple episodes and we'll see what happens.
So that's the YouTube page right there.
Yep, with the world's most serious picture as the profile picture.
Yeah.
But that's my Cheesecake Factory logo. Someone told me it looks like Cheesecake Factory, and I was really proud of it. And then they said that, and I'm like, well, God damn it, now I have to go.
I did not even get that vibe until you said that. Then the C kind of, I guess.
Yeah, you can't unsee it now, right?
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah.
What a dick. Who would do that?
All right. I'm not going to call them out. It was okay. They were being very honest. And to be fair, I asked for people's opinion.
Yes.
So if you ask, I guess you can't be butthurt about it. So,
I mean, it's not like most people. Oh, shoot. Most people aren't really going to know. I don't feel like everybody knows Cheesecake Factory anymore. Like, is Cheesecake Factory still a thing? Is that still a place that the cool kids go?
Some people
I don't
do.
know. I didn't know if it was ever a cool place, a place that the cool kids went, but it's still here. And by them saying it, I own it now. Like that's my Cheesecake Factory logo. I took it back. It's not.
Yeah. That's
not like that motherfucker made a cheesecake logo. It's like no. That's
hell yeah, I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Cheesecake Factory is delicious.
Fuck it.
Oh. So what? Besides that, what else? What else is you got going on? Just everything gearing up for that? Or have you shot a bunch of stuff for that? Or
so I shot. There's a lot of testing. There's a lot of trial and error with that. A lot of learning how to make it what I wanted it to be. Because the thing that keeps you moving is when you create like this aesthetic and you come up with a style, and you can't, if you take steps forward, if you do something that's not at least as good or better than that, you're taking a step back. So it was a lot of learning how to continue to progress, which was good because I needed something to progress because the reels become a formula, right? We know it's 15 seconds. I've got these 12 angles, and I'm gonna go find the most emotionally manipulative song I can think of to put to it. It's like, hey, here's this really dramatic scene from The Idol, but here's also a pork butt, and we're gonna put them together, and that's gonna be this week's reel. So it become like a bit of a formula. So I was like, all right, well, I want to do something different. What's the next step? The next step was YouTube, and then it was like, all right, well, I can't wax poetic about being intentional and, listening to the right music in the kitchen. People are going to want some actionable advice. So I always kind of stayed away from recipes because honestly, my favorite creators are recipe creators. Guys like Brad Prose and Lauren Nagel at Bon Appetit. Like they make such like beautiful and well thought out food that I'm like, I don't have a lot to offer in that space. But then it was like, all right, well, maybe I do, and maybe we can talk about the time that we caught the char grill on fire, and I can be like, this is how you reverse sear a steak and don't burn down your house while you're doing it. So the series started that way. This year we decided to start the media company. So Gregory Media is a thing now.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I have a small stable of clients that I really like and that I've really really enjoyed working with. So there's always a little bit of something there. Working with Low and Slow Snacks, Senor Lashuga, doing some work for Lily's, just small things here and there, doing stuff locally with a couple as a freelancer with some of the local advertising agencies for restaurants in town. So
Nice.
that takes up a lot of time, more so than it used to be. Cause there was a while there, I was dropping like 3 reels a week. And that's stopped now. I kind of been like, okay, I can commit to one, know that it's going to be good, and know that I'm not going to dread having to do it. Be like, oh man, I got to get something else out there.
Right. Guilty.
But then that's why, to your point earlier, you don't show the whole reel. You get all this great footage. That's a blessing, man. You get 4 reels out of that,
Yeah.
But that's also why you take pictures. That's why if you got your phone out, snap the photo, because if you're making content intentionally the same way you should be cooking intentionally, I'll go back and Lightroom. My Lightroom's got like 12,000 photos or something obnoxious like that in there because I'm a fucking maniac. Like, I'll wake up some days and I'll be like, man, I was thinking about this, and maybe someone else thinks about it, because a lot of the content I write, especially when I write those long captions, that I'm writing advice to myself. If the rest of y'all are identifying with that, then that's incredible to me, and I'm super thankful that you guys have taken the time to engage with it. But at the end of the day, it's a pep talk to me, so that I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm like, man, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, go back and read the post, and it's like, well, 1, that's out there now. You said that. And 2, if I'm struggling with it, someone else is struggling with it. Like, we're all doing this thing together, and it's a very human experience the way that we process it. So if you're thinking about it like that, and you've got this catalog of photos, re-edit one and throw it out there. I talk to guys all the time that are like, hey man, I don't know why I'm doing this or how I'm going to do this. I'm not this guy. I'm not this guy. And I'm like, well, good. Because if, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, I wish I was so-and-so. I'm like, well, it's a good thing you're not, because that guy's an asshole. So I'm glad you're not that.
Yeah.
True.
Like, no one can compete with you when it comes to being you. Right?
Bingo.
For sure.
Bingo.
So catalog your stuff, put something together you're proud of, and then go out and say something, because we're all here to listen.
Yeah, exactly. Someone in the right here, Adventure, said everyone has their cooking soul as creators, and we need to stay true to who we are, and that's 100% true.
Absolutely.
And exactly what I think you're preaching as part of all of what, even no matter what advice you're giving, of how to shoot or do this, but just like you said earlier, if you are proud of it, by all means share it. Of course.
Life transcends the medium, right? Like,
bingo. Yeah.
It's, you're out there and it's like, hey man, I did this pork butt, but I had to fight my wife, and my kid got kicked out, or whatever. All the things that happen in life that everyone thinks only happens to them, that happens to all of us. If you're sitting out by the cooker at 2 a.m. and you're having your moment, like, cool, have your moment, and come back and tell us about it, because I probably had that moment too. That video on the beach, I was in a weird place, and I was going through something, but shot it. I was happy with it. There was some emotion conveyed in the track, and it was like, man, this deserves to be out there. And Rick Rubin in his book talks about how ideas have a way of finding their way from the source into the universe. So when you have that idea as a creative person, you owe it to the rest of us to get it out there. And if you don't, it's going to get out there, and someone else is probably going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is also why so that's why you got to do it. When you have that, when you feel that impulse, just do it. Just hit post.
Yes, dude. Man, I don't know why I got so tripped up on that, but I have had ideas. I've even done stuff back in the day before I even knew it was a thing to take pictures of your food.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I'm like, oh, I could have started that trend years ago. Like, Not that I'm not. There's no jealousy.
Were you smoking cream cheese like 20 years ago?
No. That's all our buddy Big K. No, there's these things that hit. That someone I saw a few pages talking about called atomic buffalo turds, and all it is a jalapeno popper, but you put a sausage in there too and wrap it with bacon, right? So my daughter, this is back in like 2013, and my daughter comes home and she's like, "Hey, I heard about these things. You should make them." And I'm like, well, she tells me what they're called. Tells me what they are. So like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And then like 10 years later, here we are. People are making. I'm like, no way, man. I never even knew anybody even knew about those. But it's just funny. I don't, like I said, no jealousy. I've had more fun on this trip that I've been on than most of them in my life. So I'm cool with what I'm
Once
doing.
You get past the crap, and I'll admit it took me longer than most probably to learn how to rectify that. Like once you get past it, it's pretty freeing because now it's like kids call it YOLO. Like, gives a fuck. Let's just put it out there, man. Like,
right.
If you don't like it, there's how many other 100 million people on Instagram?
Yeah,
find it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll get in these mindsets where I'm like, dude, you're not doing anything anybody else isn't doing. Like, you're not anything special. Like, oh, you made some homemade pasta. Like just whatever, getting down on myself or whatever. And then what am I trying to say here? Damn it, Damon.
You caught my vibe.
Yeah. What were we just talking about? Son of a bee.
Basically, like you're saying, though, stay true to yourself, though.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, not everything I put out is this awesome, perfect reel. Not everything is this work of art, whatever, But like you said, I was proud of that, so I'm sharing it with you guys. That's what I started. Was the whole reason for me starting this page. It's like a therapy process, just meeting cool people that also like food. That's and right. I mean, no one. I still, I'm not at thousands and thousands, but my followers still keep coming. So people are liking it. Why change?
That's right.
I'm just getting better. Like what I come to you with questions for me, I want to be better. I'm not shooting stuff for like, oh, if I get tips from Josh, I'll get more ambassadorships. Or it has not. I want to shoot good because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, that's the other thing. It's like finding why and how you do things is real important. Because I got 2 points there. Like, because also, like, someone asked me the other day, like, well, how many ambassadorships do you have? And the answer is 0. If they want to send it, hey, cool, send it. If I'll actually use it, go ahead and send it. I'll put it in the video. That's at the end of the day, that's all I owe you. And then you don't owe me anything. There's no money changing hands. There's no you coming to me saying, I want you to do this. It keeps me engaged. But you're learning how to shoot and you're out there, we're talking back and forth and all right, well, maybe you go to your kid's graduation or maybe you're at a picnic or wherever. I brought my camera to meet my niece for the first time. And my brother texted me a couple of days ago. He's like, that's the best picture of Charlotte we have. I don't know how to fucking photograph a newborn or like an infant. Like if you would ask me if I could do that, I'd be like, absolutely not. Right. No way. I have no clue how to do that. But I go back and look at the picture now and I'm like, hey, that picture is good. It's going to transcend. You're going to take this and you're going to capture a moment one day that is going to be part of someone's life for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Right. And you're learning how to make that connection.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's amazing. Good stuff.
Well, we usually try and keep it about at this time, not keep anybody up too, especially you guys on the East Coast. Again, plug yourself real quick. Tell everybody where they can find you.
They still call me Chef cross-platform. There's a TikTok account out there somewhere that hasn't been updated in like a year, but that's out there. They still call me Chef on Instagram. They still call me Chef on YouTube. August 23rd. the series drops. And that's it. Thank you guys for having me on, man. This was awesome.
No, appreciate you coming, man.
No, dude, appreciate
you
you.
sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Anytime. If you're out there and you all want to hop on the creator channel or the broadcast channel, hop in, shoot me a DM. You know, I'm always around. So I'm always happy to answer questions.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Hey, Josh, again, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Everybody, thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out with us. Bring a friend next time. And to all the people who listen to this on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, next Friday, head-to-head, Season 1, Season 2 winner of Netflix America's Barbecue Showdown, Tina Cannon and Thyron Matthews. And you'll have to find out who's coming on Sunday next week on Friday.
There you go.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Kick this week in the